In
1969, Muhammad Ali debates on women and masculinity. Rare interview, dog. 1969. Let's get it.
in terms of when you were talking about the play before you did it, when you were last with us in great form, one of the things you said was you were going to cut out any profanity, which you've done. And one of the other things you said was it should have the right attitude to women and so on. And you just said just now that maybe women should do the dancing and so on. What do you think, I mean, what do you tell your wife? What do you believe is the right role for a woman, in fact?
Just I think the woman is, her role to me would be to, take care of her husband. I mean, women are not warriors. Women send the men off to war and waiting for them when they come in from work, have dinner ready. And, I mean, food's got to be ready. I'm sure all husbands like to come home from work to a full-course meal, home-cooked food, you understand? And that's her job. Have the food ready, bring the children into the world, take care of them, change all the diapers. And that's their job. And to answer the phone and just be a woman, be a mother,
Do you all agree with that, ladies? Do you agree with that?
Not the many of the younger ones that say no. They like to go out and party, have parties, and sit on the bars and be out with everybody, and they don't want to be settled yet. But a real woman should be in the house, not on the streets, for everybody to look at and feel on and pat on and whistle at. And then the woman can pull a man down or make him, If a man's got a strong woman, he's strong. Like how would the president or any great world figure's wife look just commonly out every day, standing on the corner in a bar where anybody can walk in and see her drinking a beer or something, Especially when a man is known in type world prestige, you never hardly see the women, mainly in African and Asian countries. Even when the men and women are having meetings, all the ladies go in one room and talk and the men go in another room. Because men who know nature, especially those with beautiful wives, don't even want them in eyesight of other men because they are men and they know how they look, so they don't want nobody else looking at theirs. So they put them in the back room.
I was with him up until that point, and even with my personal disagreement with it, I still understand for what it is. Like, generally, that's how it's going to be, regardless, because the best decision to make to keep your woman safe out of harm's way is to keep her out of other men's way. But, particularly for me, I don't mind men looking at what's mine because they can't get what's mine, right? But with that, I am opening myself up to vulnerabilities doing that, but I'm willing to deal with those vulnerabilities because of the confidence I have in myself and who I'm with in my relationship. And then if one day someone does swoop in and take my woman, it wasn't meant to be. You know what I'm saying? They did me a favor, dog. But generally, what Ali is explaining is accurate on the last thing he said, man. But before that, he was dropping bombs, bro. And it's just like the red pill before the red pill, bro. It shows how cooked women were back then. But back then, they had much more of a leg to stand on with their frustration with oppression. Because that was literally taking place in 1969 where women didn't have rights, right? Compared to today where, women got all the rights in the world and they still going to be tripping about a man saying that, bro. But just the natural order things, when you introduce freedoms and responsibilities to women, it fucks up the natural order of things, and hence you see where we are today. Especially with the idea of work with women. Men want to work. It's genetically embedded in us to want to provide for our family, provide for our loved ones, take care of the women, take care of the kids, bro. I mean, with this specific archetype of man, at the rate we going, evolution may change those genetics and have women out here wanting to be provided and have the beta-ass men out here taking care of the damn babies once the mama farted them out. Grand scheme of things, man, it's genetically embedded in us to want to do that. And the women, it's genetically embedded in y'all to want to stay home and nurture and cater and all that, bro. Y'all can have y'all's hobbies and freedoms and whatnot, bro. Say, for instance, if I snapped my finger and gave every couple that is existing on the face of this earth right now, gave them the option to choose from one. Either both of y'all work, continue doing what the fuck y'all doing, or I will give the man the same amount of money as if y'all were both working and allow your woman to stay at home, what percentage of women do you think would continue working? You know, unless they Candace Owens out here, right, that their identity is infused in their career, which I get that. You getting rid of your career is like you cutting off your arm. We ain't talking about that. That is an anomaly. The majority of people out here are just working, trying to get bread to survive. And if the man was able to work and the woman was able to stay at home, 9.75 women out of 10 are going to say, I'm going to stay my ass at home. Right? But then flip it. Pose the same question to the man. Would you stay at home if your woman will go to work and make enough money for the both of y'all? Or would you prefer to continue going to work? What percentage of men do you think is going to volunteer to stay their ass at home and take care of the domestic duties, bro? It's just we're genetically different. You're going to have some men that volunteer for that. Probably much more nowadays because a lot of men is fucking soft. But at the end of the day, men prefer to work to take care of their shit as opposed to the women, bro. Women want to take care of the house. And they keep fighting their fucking nature. Y'all been bamboozled into taking pride in being a working girl, paying Uncle Sam and shit when it's all a fucking lick at the end of the day. The biggest trick in the book is that we goddamn trick these women into wanting to bust their ass at work when they could be staying their fucking ass at home. Unfortunately, everyone is forced to work at this point. Women are working because they have to work, but a lot of these women are empowered by working. You've been tricked to want to work to fucking pay Uncle Sam when it should be the opposite. You should want to stay your ass at home. You should want to not work and then do whatever the fuck it is you want to do, man. You know what I'm saying? Get a hobby. You know what I'm saying? Get paid from the fucking hobby, dog. But logically, if you want to work and you don't have to work, why the fuck would you want to work?
A woman is the man's field which produces his nation. If he don't protect his field, he'll produce a bad nation. A nation is no greater than its females. And this is one problem black people have in America that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is straightening them out on, our religious leader, is to teach them to respect and protect their women. And if they can, keep them off other men's jobs, keep them at home. Because many of our women have to go through a lot of things just to keep their jobs. I know this. I know what I'm talking about. I know millions of people. I travel from coast to coast every day. I talk to them and they tell me what all they go to, the secretaries and the models, what all they have to go through just to earn a living. And if they had real men, they wouldn't have to do this.
What do the secretaries, you mean, have to go through?
I'd rather not go into that. As I told you the last time, I don't want to say it again. But I told you on your show, you're not as dumb as you look.
He's very good. He's very good. You've got a round of applause.
That's getting old now. You know, I didn't want to say it, but you forced me to.
It still works, though.
Yeah.
But no, there is a movement now. I mean, there's this. We had them here in the studio one night early on in this series. We didn't have them in here for very long because they all walked out. But the women's liberation movement, who really are sort of pressing for equality for women and so on. You don't agree with that, really?
Equal with the man?
Yeah.
Well, it's against nature. A woman, you know, automatically looks up to man. If I would say right now, if this theater caught on fire and we saw no outlets, it would be nature for them to look to us to find a way out before we look to them to get us out. And I mean, like, you never look, I mean, it don't look right to see a woman walking down the street this tall and a husband that tall. Women by nature look up to men in every way.
Well, we'll organise that experiment with a fire during this break, and we'll be right back with Muhammad Ali.
Talking that shit, boy.
Let's welcome to join us someone who can, has got more years' experience of the stage behind us, maybe a few valuable lessons for Muhammad Ali as well. Let's welcome
the feminists.
Immortal lady. Will you welcome, please, Miss Molly Picard.
Well, lovely to have you here. Lovely to have you here.
Well, I think the only reason I'm here today is because I can look up at Cassius.
Yes.
I certainly am religiously in the wrong pew.
No, he said kosher food. He was just talking about it.
Yes.
Tell me, you heard what Muhammad was just saying about women looking up to men and so on, and women's place in the home and so on. Do you agree with him?
Absolutely not. I've been earning my own living as a woman and a child, a little girl, since I was 5 years old. And what would I have done? What would my family have done without me? And what would all the families in the world do without the women who can help their husbands earn a living? Not all men are as fortunate as you,
Right.
Mohammed.
Well, what I like to say, this is, I'm sure that any man who is in his right mind would know that he's got a woman that he's got, nobody else. See? So this is, I'm talking on this standpoint. Everybody's got various opinions, but we do live in a society where many of the women have to get out and work to help the husband, you know, because just one job ain't enough, and it takes so much to live. You know? But by right, by nature, a woman should just be a woman, you know.
But even by nature, in old times, didn't the women work in the fields with their men?
Slavery, yeah.
Not in slavery, no. In biblical times, they worked in the fields.
Well, I don't know too much about that old history, but I'm speaking mainly for myself.
Well, you go learn your history.
Right.
And then you talk about it. Okay.
Tell me, Molly.
She ain't made not one valid point, bro. Like, yeah, men and women, when forced to work, they have to work. But in the ideal situation, you think them women in whatever field she referring to wanted to be out there picking them fields? You think she wanted to do that, or would she prefer being at the crib with the babies? Right now, pose that hypothetical the other way around. You think that where would the man prefer to be? You think the man would prefer to be out there breaking his back for his family, or be at the house nurturing the kids? He'd rather be out there working, breaking his back for his family. You know what I'm saying? The fact that we're forced to do it has nothing to do with the ideal situation. I'm saying I don't give a fuck who it is, bro. Outside of these Candace Owens and, you know, Beyonce types. And then even then, you ask them what they rather be, out here performing or be at the crib with the babies. Like cutting their career, that's a big ask, right? And I could understand the struggle with letting that go as a woman. That's an anomaly. That's not the average person's experience. And the majority of women's experience, they will gladly give up their requirement to work if their man is able to make enough money to take care of everything. All right, just because you had to do it don't mean shit. I've been working since I was 5 years old. Because you had to work. What if you didn't have to? What if you was taken care of the entire time? Right? What would you prefer?
Here is Muhammad, who's made a very successful debut on the stage.
I like to say something about him. He's real sneaky. I've been on the show a couple of times, and every time he's always had a guest that I didn't know was coming on, and he always had a little debate going. He likes to start trouble. He's a troublemaker. I want you to know that. I didn't know she was coming on. So
Well, the only...
I didn't know I was going to debate with a nice lady.
Yeah, but if you'd known she was coming on, you wouldn't have said, don't let her come on, would you?
No, I'm not that, but I know you sneaky. You're one of the smartest interviewers in America, and one of the slickest. I want you to know that.
Ali, a smooth talking motherfucker, boy. But that's dope, bro. Red pill before the red pill, goddamn it. Look at that shit, bro. Look at that shit, dog.